Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Music with Matt. Today I want to talk about something that's really personal and close to me and look at it from a completely different angle than what we see every single moment right now, and that would be the country of Ukraine. Ukraine is of course in the news every single moment right now at the time of this video as we all watch to see what happens between them and Russia. And for a lot of Americans, I know that's all they know about Ukraine, or even Russia for that matter, that they're next to each other, and that's about it. I want to look at that country today, not from a political standpoint, not from a geographical standpoint, but for what we're here on this channel to do, to talk about music. Some of my favorite music ever is from Ukraine. There's really some amazing composers there, some amazing musicians, some amazing folk styles. So I want to talk about all of that today. So join me and let's learn a little bit more about Ukraine. Let's make a connection to it. Let's start off this video with really an incredible legend in Ukrainian music, who's actually, to our luck, living right here in USA, in New York City, and that would be the wonderful, incredible Julian Kytatsty. He is one of, if not the leading figure of the Ukrainian folk instrument, the bandura. If you don't know what that instrument is, I'll put up a picture of that so you can see. It's a really cool instrument. I wish I had one. I don't. But he is an incredible musician. He plays traditionally, plays in the traditional Kobzar style. He sings. He's really a wonderful storyteller, wonderful musician, really just a virtuoso on this instrument. But like a true virtuoso, he doesn't stop at just the traditional style of this instrument or genre. He pushes it into totally new directions, including with such people, avant-garde masters as John Zorn. I mean, how cool is that? John Zorn is one of my favorites, and here is a traditional Ukrainian folk instrument alongside John Zorn. That's about as cool as it gets. But maybe cooler than that is this CD that I really love. This is an incredible record. This is with another Ukrainian composer and musician. This is with Alla Zagaykevych. She's a wonderful electroacoustic electronic composer, and together on this album, what they do is just absolutely phenomenal. It's a completely perfect listening experience, but you really need to sit down, clear out everything else, put this on, no other distractions, and listen to it in one sitting. And if you do that, this music is incredibly powerful. This is called Disturbance Fields, and what happens on this album is there is a bandura played by Julian Kytatsty. On the second track, actually, there's a prepared bandura, so he's using various objects against the strings, which is super cool and progressive to do that. And then those sounds are captured and processed by Alla's computer work, and the combination is just a whole new world of sound that none of us have ever heard before, and I really feel that we all have a really special opportunity to hear this sound, this world of sound that the two of them have created together. It's absolutely an incredible recording. So how appropriate that this album between two Ukrainian musicians would be released on a Ukrainian record label. I want to talk about that for a moment. So this record label is Sentimental Productions, and this is operated by another incredible musician from Ukraine, an electronic artist that I really love, Hutsul. His work spans a myriad of different styles and also many different formats too. He has tapes, CDs, vinyl, and even my favorite style of release, mini CD. Those are just the coolest. I love them so much. So I really am a huge fan of his work, and I strongly suggest you check out his material. I'll have links in the video description to his Bandcamp as well as his record label's Bandcamp. I actually discovered him thanks to Jason Lescalit, one of my biggest musical heroes here in the U.S. He published on his label Glistening Examples a title from Hutsul, and that's how I first discovered him. So thank you, Jason, for that. And then once I discovered Edward's releases on his Ukrainian labels and from other Ukrainian labels, I just really found a lot of work to discover. But I want to look at his record label just for a second, Sentimental Productions. This is so cool what he's doing. He's releasing art boxes. So there's not only the release, you get that, but there's usually something a lot extra with it. So like a hand-painted wooden box with it to house it, maybe like some postcards or a booklet or paintings. The newest release, for example, has a sample of the actual source material on tape that was used for the composition. It's just, what it really says to me more than anything is how much love and energy and dedication and thought goes into each and every release that he works on. His love for this art is, super strong and super evident in all of the work he does, and I really appreciate his dedication to this. So take a look. I'll have links to his Bandcamp as well as the labels in my video description. Highly worth checking out. Discover some new music and support it. A quick note about Julian Kytatsty. This is one of the musicians in this video that I actually got the chance to perform with, not once but twice. A good friend of mine, Alla, in Boston, brought him to Boston. He did 2 different performances. Once I played guitar with him, the other one I played violin, and then actually opened the concert on violin. So thank you to Alla for that. Alla is actually an amazing visual artist. I'm going to put a link to her material in the video description as well. But it's just it was such an honor and pleasure to play music with Julian. And at the end of this video, I will have a link in the video itself to see a sample from that performance. It's very hard for me to have any musical discussion without bringing up this next ensemble, one of my favorite ensembles in the whole world. They actually are from Ukraine, so it's perfectly appropriate for this video. That would, of course, be the incredible DakhaBrakha. They are just absolutely mesmerizing. They're really amazing, and when you see them live, they have more energy than I have ever experienced from any concert in my life. It's just really an overwhelming, powerful experience from the moment they walk on stage to the moment they leave. A truly phenomenal group. They take music that they've sourced in a variety of different ways. Some of it they've gotten from villagers, some ancient lyrics, ancient texts, ancient melodies, things like this, and they have reworked it, rearranged it, made it their own. And it is incredible. It's powerful, it's incredible, it's catchy, it's stuff that will get stuck in your head forever and that you'll just really want to hear again and again and again. Anytime I see an announcement about a new track or a new album from them, I'm eagerly awaiting the day that it comes out because it's always really incredible. This is one of my favorite CDs from them. It's got some really cool tracks on there. If you buy the hard copy or some of the albums on Bandcamp, also you can see the English translation for the lyrics. So if you are enjoying this music and are curious what it's about, you can usually find some translations and help you figure out what they're singing about. They are super cool. I highly recommend you check them out. I actually discovered them way back when via a Tiny Desk concert on NPR. So that it just showed up on my YouTube sidebar one day. I clicked on it and I said, wait, they're from Ukraine. This is awesome. And I fell in love with them ever since. They have a related ensemble called the Dakh Daughters, which I recommend just as much. They are also incredible. It's all different band members except for one. Nina Goretzka, she plays in both groups. But Dakh Daughters, they have 3 albums out now. They too are really incredible, so I would highly suggest you check those out. Get familiar with both those ensembles. You won't regret it at all. The next artist I want to bring up is Onuka. Now, normally I really like kind of avant-garde music, traditional fiddle music, things like that. But there are a few times that I really, really love pop music. I mentioned Foster the People in a few videos ago. Well, Onuka is another pop artist that I am just absolutely crazy about. Her music is so good. It is really such a beautiful sound even. I mean, just everything about the production is so beautiful. I really love her work a lot. And when I was a student at Berkeley, I got the chance to interview her, and my respect for her work grew even more because I could just tell how dedicated she was to her craft and how wonderful her work is. She too takes elements of Ukrainian folk and implements it into her pop sound which helps to preserve that and keep it alive and introduce it to new audiences, which I think is just a really wonderful thing. I think out of anybody I mentioned today, this artist here will be the most accessible for the average listener. So if you are wanting to learn more about Ukrainian music and don't know where to get started from this list, start right here with Onuka, and I think you will. I think everyone who watches will find something or hers that they will really enjoy. So now we go from one extreme to another in Music with Matt. We go from pop music to classical music to one of Ukraine's most celebrated people and biggest heroes, Valentin Silvestrov. Valentin Silvestrov is an incredible composer. His work has spanned so many styles, anywhere from large symphonies to small chamber pieces, duets, anywhere from beautiful romantic style pieces to like 12-tone serial pieces. Anywhere, all of that combined. I mean, that's his output. So much. There's definitely something for everyone in there. Of course, for me, the favorite is kind of his earlier works, his early string quartets, and his early symphonic works. They're very atonal and very 12-tone-ish. I just love those so much. But I also really love his tonal works too. The beauty in them is just, a lot of those pieces, it's hard not to cry through. They're just really touching pieces. And to connect him to many other videos on this channel, ECM Records. The majority of his material is published on ECM Records. This is one of my favorites out of the many on their catalog. This is Leggero Pesante, and that string quartet I love is on here. So highly recommend this album, but just go to ECM Records, choose any of his records at random, and it will be a great choice for sure. So next I want to bring up not a particular artist, but actually a particular style, a whole style, and that is the style of Hutsul musicians, which are more towards the western half of the country. Their music is really something quite specific and something really special. I love this music. It's unlike any other folk music I've ever heard anywhere in the world. It's really incredible. It's usually got a violin, maybe a bass or a cello for the lower end of things, and then it's got a drum, a bass drum with one cymbal on top. That's usually been the traditional format I've seen. Sometimes there's what we would call a hammered dulcimer or a cymbalum, what they would call there. Some flutes, maybe, any of these configurations, but it's the sound and it's the repertoire that is just really distinct and very unique. I was really searching this music out like crazy when I was in Ukraine, and I had no luck finding it. It's, I guess these folks are really off the beaten trail, and it's hard to find them. But of all things, at a restaurant, I found this CD here, and I was so happy because this is truly authentic Hutsul music. So I was so happy. Normally, I was at this one restaurant, and there was a bunch of like commercial CDs and best of compilations that weren't really of interest to my musical research. Then I found this one and couldn't believe. I was just so thrilled to find an album of the music I had been looking for, searching out, and as soon as I heard this, I was smiling from ear to ear because this is the sound I had been looking for the whole time. There are some examples on YouTube I would suggest you to look up, but in general I've found that it's quite hard to find a lot of examples of this music. But if you really want to hear one version of Ukrainian folk music, definitely search out Hutsul music. So we started the video off with a Ukrainian musician that I was very fortunate to get to perform with. We'll close the video with another incredible Ukrainian musician I want to introduce you to, that I also had the great fortune of performing a short improvisation with, and whose venue I got to perform at in Kyiv. This guy's doing some incredible work in Ukraine. He's got a concert venue. He's an incredible guitarist, incredible composer, and his musical tastes are flawless. He loves the same music I do. He has so many records, so many different genres, so many different tastes he loves. And that would be Dmytro Radzetskyi. I love this album here. This is such a great record. It's called Radzetskyi Plays Radzetskyi. If I can find the link, I'll put that up there as well. But he's an incredible guitarist, based in Kyiv. He's got, I think it's a 10-string guitar that he plays. I don't care. I don't know. It could be a 1-string guitar or a 100-string guitar. It wouldn't matter. He can play it. It'll be perfect when he plays it. I just love his work. Along with him, I got to meet Maxim Kolmiiets. I couldn't find any, I don't know if he has any CDs or published recordings, but as a composer, his work is just phenomenal. I really love his work, and the two of them work together a lot in Kyiv. So I wanted to mention them and give a very special, heartfelt thanks to both of them for getting to meet them in Kyiv, and also for making such wonderful music. So check them out, and if you're in Kyiv, hit them up, because they're doing lots of great concerts there.